What's up, you guys?
What's up?
For those that don't know who we are, I'm Karen. This is Jason.
Yes.
And we are Not Your Typical Recruiters podcast.
Absolutely.
And Jason, we got a guest today.
We got a special guest in the building, Lucee, Cesena, CEO of Nobility
Hey.
Services.
Hi.
Yes.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you for so much for being
joining
here.
us.
Of course.
Yes. I've known Lucee for a long time, apparently.
Very long time.
So
I'm going to hear this.
Oh,
First off, how long? What year? What decade?
2009.
Yeah.
Been a minute.
Then, yeah. My 16-year-old, she's 16 now. She was 2 when I met you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
been
a
like
minute.
14 years.
Wow.
I was in
Been
one
a
of
minute.
Jason's photo shoots.
Yes.
The girl on the couch.
Photo shoot.
Yes.
What?
Okay. So
I'm going to ask about
A past
that.
life that I do not know about.
You guys
okay,
know.
you do know about it.
Jason used to be
I
a
used to
really
be-
big
I was
party
a-
promoter.
I was a really big promoter at one
Yes,
point.
in LA.
Yeah.
Okay, I believe that.
I got
to
in all
to
the cool
some
clubs
people's
because of Jason.
idea.
So you guys met at the club?
Yes.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, we were met out.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was
we
out
did.
all the time. I would go
Okay.
out by myself.
Yeah, she was a G. She went out like she
By
went to meet
myself.
friends.
Yeah.
That's bold, you
Um,
guys. Women
hey.
that go out says a lot about who you are.
I was on a mission. I didn't know what it was then, but I was on it.
Right.
I love it.
And now you help people start businesses
Mhm.
from A to Z, and you do it seamlessly, and you have a really great track record. We did our research.
Yeah, good.
and it's been amazing to see you grow and see where you are now and how you're helping people. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
So
Yes.
we're really happy to have you.
Thank you.
As you know, we have lots of nurses that are entrepreneurs as well who have businesses. Some are looking to start a business. And we thought, Karen and I was like, be great to give them more insight and give them an amazing resource that I know is a great person to have on your side if you're starting a business. So thank you for joining
Jason
us.
and I, we do so many events together, and we come across so many nurses that are,
Yep.
you know, would tell us that nursing is just their stepping stone to something bigger, like, and their desire of starting a business. So we are so excited for you to come through because we've been telling so many of our nurses that we're going to have a guest
Yes.
like yourself to share your experience and expertise on starting a business.
Yeah, I'm excited. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
what's you are the CEO of, what's the name of your company?
My business is Nobility Consulting Services, and I started my business back in 2011. And when I started it, it was Incorporations for All. Very corny name, but I didn't know what I was doing back then. I was a single mom. I had worked at ADP. That's how I kind of got into this, because selling payroll, I had to go into a lot of businesses and realize that business owners do not know how to run a business. They don't have any of their paperwork in order.
Wow.
Because you have somebody who knows how to do something, so they start a business to specifically work in that trait. But nobody handles the business side of the business. So I learned a lot from being at ADP. And at the time, I was auditioning and I was out doing, because I'm an
The
aspiring
LA.
actress
Yes.
thing, right?
Mhm.
So I was doing my auditions and they fired me. And I was like, there's no way that I can
Wait,
work.
ADP did.
ADP fired me. And so at that time, I was like, I don't want a job where I have to sit in an office. I need my flexibility for my auditions. I need to be there for my kids. I don't have family around me that can pick them up when I have to stay late. So I had to figure out what to do in order to stay home. And around that time is when I picked up my first book, and it was called The 1 Minute Millionaire. And it opened my eyes to a different way of thinking, and it sparked something in me. And I said, I'm going to start my own business. Didn't know what I was doing. I never seen it happen. Didn't have anybody in my family that was business owners, no mentors, nothing. And I really bootstrapped this company. And here I am, 12 years later, 13 years later, I have over 800 clients now.
Wow.
And I've set up every type of business you can imagine. My Rolodex is huge when it comes to businesses, as far as getting you set up, getting your everything from general liability, payroll, workers' comp, referring them for funding, web development, social media, anything the business needs, logos. I have created a full team around me, and I have worked with many different type of companies, and I
Wow.
get everything is now referred over to me. Referral. I've done my work.
That is very impressive.
Thank you.
From seeds to a tree.
Wait,
Yes.
so you're telling
Like,
me
boom.
this one book
The book sparked something in me.
sparked? Okay.
Yeah, because I come from my parents were both in gangs. I grew up in Bell, which is in LA, very small town, but I didn't see that people like me, Hispanic, can run a business or were business owners. I saw my parents struggle from not even month to month, from week to week, paycheck to paycheck. So, and again, when you're living in that and you see the fighting or just from being in the environment that I lived in the neighborhood and things like that, right? You're not open to possibilities or, oh, I can do this or I can do that. It's get a job, work your 9 to 5, and then make it from paycheck to paycheck. I knew there had to be more out there. So when I read this book, and the book specifically talks about the way that we think, our mind, and, if we really believe in it, that it'll happen. And one specific insert in the book was like, this woman was needing money and she kept thinking, I'm going to get a check. I'm going to get a check. And the next day she had a check in her mailbox for $1,000. And I was at home thinking, I need a check. I need a check. Thinking that's how it worked because I don't know.
Right.
But it doesn't work that way. You have to still put in the work.
Absolutely.
But that made me want to learn more. And it just literally was like a little light bulb of like, oh my God, there's a whole other way of thinking. I don't have to be dysfunctional. I don't have to live in poverty. I don't have to lack. I'm a child of God. I know that God has abundance for me. I just have to go get it. But how do we do that? So it did spark. It was that book that really sparked something for me. And then it was just kind of like growing from there. I read every book you can think of and I just am like, learn. And yeah, so I would say it is because I read that one book. It did spark something in me.
That's
Awesome.
amazing.
We're going to have to give a shout out to the author of that book.
Right? I have that book still sitting on my
You
shelf.
should like reach out to that author.
I know, be like, look, I've talked about your book in 3 different shows. Like, can we really but it is really a good book, especially for somebody who hasn't like read anything. You have to understand it though. It's really hard to get your mind around a different way of thinking when you're accustomed to one way. So you still have to, again, put in the work. I mean, that one book didn't change my life, but
absolutely
it did spark in me inquiring and being interested in more.
Was there something that like inspired you? I mean, outside of obviously this book gave you that spark, but was there anything, I mean, besides coming from a family, right? I mean, I think all our families come from
Right. I think what inspired me was knowing that I wanted a different life. I didn't want to have to, I'm being a single mom, I mean, struggling. I didn't want my girls to have to go through what I went through of, when my dad would get paid, it was like, okay, let's go to the swap meet. He would take us to the Compton swap meet on days that he got bigger checks or that it wasn't specifically to have to pay the rent and we'd get to go buy the things from there. Like he bought us MC Hammer pants and I hated that, but
I love those MC Hammer pants.
I hated it. Or like the big jackets. We were only allowed certain things. And I just didn't want that for my girls. And then again, being a single mom, it was like, it falls on me. And God put something in me, let me tell you, where it's like, I know that I'm destined for greatness. I know that I was born for a purpose. Right. I don't exactly know what that is. Even to this day, I know I'm working towards it and I know I'm going in a direction, but that's what inspired me to keep going because he made me for something. So I have to just follow and be obedient and keep going through those doors. Don't get me wrong, Karen. There's times where I'm like, what am I doing? This is not for me. I'm not good enough. Imposter syndrome hits so hard. And I think
her rants that she does on her IG stories, hilarious. I have to sometimes tap in and check with her and just say, are you okay?
No, because I'm real.
She keeps it real.
Listen, we're
we've
human.
All been there.
Instagram is all everybody's highlight reels, right? You guys know that.
No, but not her. She literally, if she's not having a good day, she'll be like, I'm not having a good day. This is what happened.
No, I've been watching your stories. No, you keep it real.
Yeah, I mean, you have to.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
Authenticity sells. And it's not even about selling, but it's you relate to that.
Right.
If you're coming up there and everybody's on Instagram so perfect and everything is so great, that's not real.
Right.
And that's the thing I love about businesses. You don't, like, people think, oh, you had an opportunity, the door just opened. No, you realize I've had to work 12 years, like going on 13 years of busting my butt to really try to make somewhat of a name. And it's only been the last couple years where it's finally, you're starting to see the benefits and the rewards from all of your work.
Right.
So it doesn't happen overnight. There's struggles in it. I mean, and especially being an entrepreneur, there's highs and there are definitely lows.
Yeah.
There are some times where your phone is not ringing, you're not getting those calls. And when you don't get those calls, you don't know how you're going to pay your bills that month. So it's not always the top of the mountain and happy, lucky. Like there's some real downtimes sometimes.
Put in that work.
Yeah, for real.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a lot of people that start businesses and they give up.
Yes.
After a few years or so. I mean, what type of advice would you give to a young person that is trying to push through? Or like, let's say, you know, we just had, you know, we're kind of going through a recession still. Mm-hmm. It's like a slow and like...
It's the untalked about recession. I think there's so many industries, just Paramount Industries
I mean,
today,
for us, it's
Paramount
finally
just
hitting us.
Another big layoff today. And
right.
Oh,
Paramount, yes.
Yeah, I saw that on the news and I was like, wow, they just laid off that many people. But the way that they did it was pretty funny. Not in a funny way, but just like they were like, hey, everybody, we're gonna miss you guys. And they said it like in a sad way. We can't explain all the details, but you know, we're gonna miss you guys. And they basically cut all those people. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. I mean, we're living in a time where, you know, nothing is guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
You can lose your job. But for a young person or anybody for that matter who's trying to build and going through a season, what kind of advice would you give them?
I know it's easy to say, but don't stop. Take your moment. Take all the time that you need to sit there and pout it out, cry it out, but keep going. And that's really the only advice that I would say is the most beneficial, because I can't sit here. Every industry is different. Every business is different. You have to believe that you're going to get to the other side of the desert when it's dry. But if you don't keep walking through it, you're never going to know. And believe me, there's been times where
that's huge.
It's been so hard. And I personally have went and taken a job at I worked at Wells Fargo for 1 year, because I was like, okay, it's a little dry. It's a little desolate. I have kids. What am I going to do? So I went and took a position as a business banker to learn the banking side of business. So when I started setting up my clients, I would have that to give them. So I'm not saying quit your day job today or never go and do a side job or anything, because you have to support your family. You have to be able to keep carrying your weight, right?
Right.
So that's what I did during the beginning of my career. I did 1 year and I was like, I'm done. And it literally felt like time. Like I feel like I was in these walls of like, oh, I gotta be here. I can't go anywhere. But it taught me so much and it made me so much more valuable to my business clients when I was setting up their businesses and they're asking me, what bank do you like? I knew. I know who's good. I know which bank would be great for what type of business. If you're a smaller company, if you're a bigger company, I can now tell you or give my suggestion or recommendation on where you should go.
Right.
So it's not always going to be easy. There is going to be downtimes, but if you continue to go, because something I heard was amazing. If you quit, you'll never know how far you could have gone, right? If you quit, at least you tried. Like there's no reason to quit. If you really believe in it, you got to just keep walking. Keep going.
Question. You've helped so many businesses, all different types. Recently, what are some of the examples of types of businesses that you've helped recently?
I've done truck drivers, so a lot of trucking companies. Estheticians are kind of coming up right now.
Big in LA.
It is big. And, you know, every industry is different. And there's different requirements that the state of California requires. And I am nationwide. But when you're licensed in certain type of company or businesses, there's different regulations and different requirements that state board even requires.
That's really important.
So, yeah, that is important. Like you can't be a doctor or an attorney and just have a regular corp. It has to be a professional corp. Right. So there's just different things. I'm also getting a lot of family and marriage therapist companies starting right now, like a lot. And the cool thing about what I do is, again, if I help one person, then it's like a domino effect. They refer all their friends over. I also built my business on B2B instead of B2C. And if you don't know what that means, business to business versus business to consumer, meaning that I went and made valuable partnerships relationships with bankers, CPAs, accountants that were already seeing people that wanted either to start a business or had a business and it was a mess and they weren't in compliance or anything of like that nature, where they were referring them to me. So I never had to go out and really sell to the client, because if I come up to you and try to say, hey, let me help you with your business, you don't know me, you're not going to trust me. But if your banker or your CPA says, Karen, you need a business, call this girl, go to her, it's a done deal. I don't have to do anything. I just have to show up, do my part, and make that accountant look like a superstar and take care of you, and they'll continue sending business over to me. So that's how I built my business, from business to business partners instead of business to consumer.
That's pretty, I'd never heard of that before. That's something.
It is huge.
B2B.
Right.
It's
B2B.
relationship building. At the end of the day, and I tell people this all the time.
Which is what we do.
Relationships, right? If you're trying to get into the CEO, you don't go knocking on the door saying, hey, I need to talk to your CEO.
Right.
Get good with the receptionist. Talk to the front gatekeeper. Get to know that person, and they will open the door for you. So for me, it's relationship building, getting the contacts with the people that are already seeing business clients on a daily basis. So I don't have to do the hard work. I just have to build a relationship with that key person.
Okay. Gossip time.
Yeah.
I want to know, out of all the businesses, and you've done hundreds, can you name drop at least, or not, you don't have to name drop, but share one really bad experience?
Oh, bad experience? Oh, okay. I have one. But so a bad experience would be when somebody comes and they are like, oh, I want this type of business. Now,
And when they say that, what does that mean? Like,
meaning
what?
I want an LLC. I'm like, okay, are you sure? Are you sure you want the LLC? Are you sure? Like, and mind you, I am not an accountant. I am not an attorney. That is what I say to everybody. These are my recommendations. I've been doing this for a very long time. I can tell you how to start, how to close, how to amend, how to convert. I can do everything for the business. I can also tell you, based on your type of business, how much money you're making in a year, what would be the best type of business to get into as far as entity, LLC, S Corp, C Corp, or just stay a DBA. If you come to me and say, no, I want this, I want this, I want this, I'm not going to tell you otherwise. I'm going to recommend the difference. It is up to them to say, okay, let's do that. So I had set up a company one way for somebody, and then a couple months later, I got a call and was totally chewed out because you did it wrong. That's not what I needed. But I can only say so much. I can only recommend. I'm not going to push you into doing it. I tell everybody, consult with your accountant, consult with your attorney if you have one. Not everybody's going to have an attorney in the beginning, but everybody should have an accountant or CPA, right? So do your due diligence and I'll do mine. So, I mean, as far as bad, I've been so lucky to not have any bad clients at all. I've had some really cool, amazing ones. But this was one where I was just like, at the end of the day, I was like, listen, lady, don't call me anymore. I can't help you. Like, you got to go figure this out on your own. I even made the change for her at no cost. I changed it. I did what she needed. I even took accountability. Like, I'm sorry. I didn't have to do that. But I think accountability is huge, especially if you're a business owner.
Especially in today's day. Period.
Especially. Take accountability. We are human. We make mistakes.
Yeah.
Take accountability. Say you're sorry. Own it. Fix it. It's that simple. Fix it. So, that was probably my only bad experience. I really thought I was going to be getting a letter that I was like getting sued. And no joke, about 2 weeks later, I got a letter from an attorney. But I'm a registered agent for a lot of my clients. So it was for another client. I was like, oh, she sued me. But no, it wasn't that.
Oh my God.
But other than that, I've had some amazing clients. I've set up businesses for producers, artists, movies, actresses, actors, like some really
That's
cool
awesome.
stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. On the positive note.
Yes.
Any businesses or people that we know?
You've probably seen some. Yeah. I do with some OnlyFans out there. I have some YouTubers. I have I have some really amazing cool clients.
So hundreds, it's just all over the place.
There's not one specific industry. I've done OnlyFans. I've done truckers. I've done influencers.
Wow.
I've done doctors. I've done therapists. I've done beauty.
Okay, so you guys know who to reach out to if you want to start a business.
Yes.
Lucee is your girl.
She can basically get you started from zero, from not being a business to being a fully running business, like in less than 2 weeks.
Well,
sometimes
it depends. Yeah. Right now, the Secretary of State is so behind. But yes, I can. If you have an idea and you're ready to start your business, we can set up the entity. If you need, again, the workers' comp, insurances, E&O, whatever it is, I can help put you in the right direction.
Okay, so let's say somebody has an idea and should they go to you right away, or what do they need to have before, let's say, reaching out to you?
Well, they need to know that they're ready to start first and foremost, because I can sit there and have a conversation with you, but you have to be able to be ready to say, I'm ready to go. Let's do this. So having an idea is amazing, but are you ready to take the steps? So what they need to do is literally be ready to say, okay, I want to start my business. Once you start it, because I've seen it happen, once you build it, they will come. Once you start your business, it just doors open because you're putting it into the universe. You're attracting what you want, right? You're saying, I'm going to do this. You're putting motion and action behind your words. It's going to come. So once we set it up and once they're ready and they're like, let's do it, then I get the call. We have a conversation and I plan things out with them as far as, okay, well, what type of business is it? How much do you think you're going to be making? So you should have a rough idea of where your business is going at least the first 2 years.
Right.
I don't need the business plan. I don't need anything like that because I'm not funding them at that moment. But eventually, if they're looking for capital, if they're looking to, get investors or whatever their path is, then they have to start looking into business plans and getting that stuff in order. But when it comes to me, the startup, it's just having the idea and being ready to go and starting the business.
Man. See?
Okay.
She does this. You go
So,
to,
like, for
you
your
go to a mechanic to get your car fixed. You go to Lucee. You want a business to, from A to Z. You want it done quick. I mean, you can do it yourself, and you might hit some bumps in the road, but she can get you from here to there. You can actually, be a little more hands off on that part and get yourself going. I've seen it.
So LLC is the most common one, would you say?
Most common because TikTok and Instagram have ads playing 24/7 about starting an LLC, but it's not always the best one. Now, for traveling nurses like you guys deal with, they're contractors. Most of them are independent contractors, correct? They're 1099, right?
Some are, but very
Some
few,
some
actually.
are, yeah.
So when
So
you're
we do have some nurses that call. They're like,
That-
"Do you guys
that
do
ask.
1099?"
But that's
Unfortunately,
it's still few far between.
yeah.
So
Yes.
anybody who is a contractor that's a 1099 that's being paid to do certain things, depending on how they're running their business, and again, this is where a conversation comes into play. An LLC would be a good fit because it's a limited liability company, meaning that there's no annual compliance, there's no board of directors, there's no shareholders, there's no stock. It's the protection from their personal assets. So if anybody sued them, they are suing the company. Their personal assets are protected, but any income that comes into that LLC is still considered personal income. It might be taxed at a lower rate, but you're still paying, tax on the gross amount, tax on it's still considered personal income for them.
Right.
So although they're getting the benefits, it's just what it stands for, a limited liability company. It's going to protect them. And that's good for like producers and contractors, Uber drivers,
What about real estate
things like
agents?
that. Real estate agents, it depends. If they're flipping and they're purchasing a home, fixing it up and then selling it, put the home in the LLC, make
Yeah.
that the company. But agents that are like bona fide starting and running the business and doing business within it, I personally like S Corps for that. But then you also have some construction company or some real estate developers who are doing developments, and sometimes those are best under a C Corp. So it just really depends on the type of business that you're running and what you plan on doing within the business. Because again, even a contractor can get a job here, but they have 10 contracts out there and they're really running a business that needs the full protection, that needs the compliance part of it, where if somebody was to sue them and they get called into court, they have all of their documents in order that is completely protecting them as an individual.
Wow. I felt like I went to school today.
Hey, learn new things every day. Read the book that she's recommending.
The
That
1 Minute Millionaire.
I'm gonna find that book. I'm gonna find the author, and we're gonna have another discussion.
I'll send you a picture of it. You can put it on your guys' Instagram.
So if we have people that want to reach out to you, what's the best way to reach out to you?
So they can call my office, which is, I'll give you the number. It's 626-214-5654. Or my Instagram, which is at Lucee Cesena. And if you guys want to insert the spelling,
We'll insert that.
you can
right,
do
Kaden?
that. And so Instagram, calling my office. I do have a website. It's nobilityconsulting.com. You can reach me there as well. So I'm pretty easy to find.
Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank
I
you.
think
Yes,
this
of
has been
course.
one of
Thank you.
my favorite episodes just because this is so informative. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
And all
for
of those
having
who
me.
are looking to start a business and your wheels are spinning in your head, as I know mine was going all over the place mentally, just because I always think of new ideas.
Mhm.
Man, just give her a call and make it happen.
You guys, thank you so much for tuning in.
Yes. Thank you,
Make sure you
Lucee.
like and subscribe. Thank you so much,
Thank
Lucee,
you,
for being
guys.
here, babe.
Yes, thank
Appreciate
you.
you.
And we'll catch you later.
All right.
Peace.
Bye.